You're lucky, brother. You better think the other way. Because when you finish paying taxes, federal, state, and city too, you wind up paying more in taxes than the jackpot paid to you. Taxes, taxes, when you all. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started. We are streaming on Facebook as well. If you are tuning into our Facebook replay, hashtag replay in the comments. We still want to hear from you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and record this to the cloud.
Recording in progress.
And hello, y'all. Welcome to taxes and everything that you need to know about it. Okay, so I am your host today, Whitney Marie. Really excited. We're going to have the replay for this for you guys to share with other people who can benefit from this information as well. But if you guys can just share in the chat where you guys are paying taxes right now, like where you guys can think of paying taxes off the top of your head. Right? Let's check it out in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Where are you guys paying taxes? And I love the interaction. I love to hear from the people, right? Yes, and what are you taxed on? What purchases are you taxed on, right? I know that every county has a different tax rate. So when we go and buy something, we pay a tax, right? How many of you own a home? How many of you have taxes on the property that you own and you have to pay property taxes? Okay, Leticia, she's in Chicago. She gets taxed on parking, food. Brenda, she says tax on everything. Okay. Louis says he's paying $4,000 in taxes every 6 months, y'all. That's huge. So can we all agree? In a 333? Put a 333 in the chat if we know that we cannot avoid taxes. Astrid says, Uncle Sam taxing me for everything. Food, rent, gas, medical, even in my own taxes. You guys ever, if you're a W-2 employee, drop W-2, and you guys look at the amount of hours that you've worked, and then you guys look at your check stub, and you guys see everything that you guys have been taxed on, right? Tax for Social Security, tax for healthcare, tax, right? So, yeah. Yes, you guys. And I'm going to share some information with y'all, okay? Well, first of all, let's start with a disclaimer. My name is Whitney Marie, okay? And some of you know me, some of you don't. But this is not official advice. I am not a professional accountant. So this advice that I am sharing is real life experience, okay? Drop a 444 if real life experience has taught y'all some stuff. All right. Real life experience has taught me a lot, and we're going to go into that. But I just have to put this disclaimer out there at the end of the call. I'm going to have a call to action for you guys. I've been through some trials and tribulations with taxes, with not having great advisors. And I have a contact for you guys at the end of the webinar. Okay. But I wanted to share some statistics. Okay. I wanted to share some statistics after y'all put in the chat that we're taxed on everything, right? So do you guys know that taxes will be the biggest expense in your life? Do you guys know that? Drop a 111 in the chat if you guys knew that taxes are going to be the biggest expense in your life. Drop a 222 if that's a revelation for you, right? It was up until these last 5 to 10 years that I actually realized, like, wow, like that I didn't realize that I would be paying so much in taxes. But think about it, you guys. We make money, we get taxed. We go get gas, we get taxed. We go buy a car, we get taxed. We get taxed everywhere. So this is really important. And this is why I'm like such a big proponent of financial literacy. I always say that I'm going to start a university, Whittles University, teaching y'all the stuff that we should have been taught in school, right? Because nothing wrong with higher education. I think that it's important, especially if you want to go out there and, have a specialty career. But that wasn't the case for me. And I'm going to share you guys some information. But before we kind of dive into that, taxes will be the biggest expense in your life. So strategic tax planning is a must. Pay your legal share and never a dollar more. And you guys know that note takers are money makers. So y'all, when you guys just hear something fire, I want you guys to drop it in the chat. Same thing for you guys on Facebook that are watching this live stream. Go ahead and drop some fire in the chat when you guys hear that, okay? So the tax code, you guys know that the tax code has 75,000 pages? You guys know that? Right? Pretty insane. How do the wealthy not pay tax? I know a lot of people, love him or hate him. Mr. Donald Trump, he doesn't pay taxes, right? He knows, and his team knows the ins and out of the $75,000 tax codes. Okay, I even read somewhere that he buried his ex-wife on one of his properties because of one of these tax codes in these books. I've never heard of anybody doing that. But as I'm talking with entrepreneurs and business owners and really like talking about not just making money, you guys know that this is the Money Making Friends group. But we're here to build a legacy, okay? Drop a 555 if you're here to build a legacy and you want to learn about the things that maybe that you haven't been taught in school. And I have found the most value in education and getting around people that have the things that I want and learning from them, okay? Because if you ever want to buy a house, if you ever want to save on the biggest expense of your life, aka taxes, this information is going to be vital for you, okay? So going back to some of the other tips that you guys can use, okay? So Augusta tax rule, section 280A, and we're going to be talking about this. You guys know that you can rent your home for up to 14 days per year without having to pay an annual tax on rental income. Do you guys know that? If you own a business, you can host a team retreat, party, event, or meeting at your home and rent it out to your business. How crazy is that, you guys? We're going to be talking about this. Augusta tax rule example. You can rent at $500 per night if you have an LLC or a corporation or a business entity. We're going to be talking about that. The LLC can pay up to $7,000 for the use. That's $7,000 in a tax deduction that you pay zero tax on personally, okay? This reduces your taxable income and it also offers tax-free income for rent. We're going to be diving more into this, but like I said, be taking notes. Lots of things business owners can write off and claim deductions on: education, health insurance, internet, home office costs, vehicle expenses, advertising, supplies. We're going to be diving into that. And I'm sure some of you may be asking, well, what if I'm not a business owner? What if I'm a W-2 employee? Like, what does that even look like? Like, how can I start taking these advantages of these deductions right away? Okay. Section 179 tax deduction. The IRS section 179 tax deduction allows business owners to write off the entire cost of vehicles used for work: cars, trucks, SUV, vans. Okay. You can write it all off in 1 year if you need that tax deduction, or you can depreciate that asset. And we're going to be talking about that. Okay. So the other thing, hiring your kids, drop a 222 if you're a parent. Okay. Drop a 222 if you're a parent. Yes, I have a presentation. We'll be flowing right into that. And I will share these slides in the Money Making Facebook group, okay? So drop a 222 on the parent. Did you guys know if if your children are under 18, you can hire your child for up to $13,850 tax-free? Did you guys know that? This is why I told you, Louis, the other day, I was like, hey, you're not good on social media. You have a 13-year-old, hire your 13-year-old. Pay her. You can get $13,850 in tax deductible income for your daughter, okay? When you hire your child, this is a business expense and you can deduct it from your taxable income, lowering your liability, okay? Now, we all heard that we are from many different states here on this call tonight. Some of the states in the U.S. that have zero state tax income is New Hampshire, South Dakota, Washington. We got people, anybody in here? Tennessee, Wyoming, Nevada, Florida, Alaska, Texas. I know here in California, for the tax bracket that we're all going towards, okay? If you hanging around here with the Money Making Friends, this is where we're all going. That could be up to 30%, you guys. Imagine that. Imagine you went and worked hard and you earned $100,000 and the government came in and took $30,000 of that. That's a pretty huge chunk, okay? Also, a Roth IRA is really amazing, you guys. You can make a tax-free millionaire in retirement. Roth IRAs offer tax-free growth, which will help your investments compound and grow faster. This is what I'm doing now. Currently, I'm rolling over my old 401k. I have more than 6 figures in that account. It's been sitting there not doing anything for 10 years. And I'm like, I got to roll this over and I actually have to put my money to work. Okay. Put my money to work. So we're going to get into the presentation there. Okay. We're going to be getting into this presentation here. Let me pull it up. And this is what we're going to be talking about: business and taxes. Okay. The Money Making Friends group. Okay. And who am I and why am I vetted to talk about this subject without, being a CPA or an accountant? Like I said earlier, you guys, I've learned so much from being my own boss, basically for almost the last decade. I did everything that we were supposed to do, right? I was a magna cum laude graduate. I worked for corporate America for 10 years. Okay. I had a startup business, a clothing boutique business that I started on my own. And I had to learn so much about taxes. And I've been in fights with the IRS. Okay. The IRS, what happens when you put the IRS together? It stands for theirs. It stands for theirs. So what I'm doing you today is teaching you about yours, okay? drop a 333 if you want to get yours, okay? And you want to stop giving them theirs, because all this stuff that I'm going to be teaching you guys today, this is all legal. Again, I'm going to be giving you guys a call to action at the end so that you guys can learn. You guys can learn and talk to a professional. That's actually helped me articulate and understand all of this stuff. So as I was a business owner, a startup business owner, nobody talked to me about taxes. I would get in fights with the IRS because they were thinking it was theirs. I made bad decisions as far as my accountant and who I let was, touch my money in the beginning. And I've just learned so much. I've learned so much. And then, as of 2020, actually, I sold my clothing boutique. And, now I'm a global coach in the water business and helping people all over the world. I've earned, over $500,000 in commission. I have upwards of almost $3 million in sales. And my vision, whether you guys decide to work with me in the future, maybe now in the future, or maybe never, I just hope that you take this information and you share it with somebody if you found value. Okay. So if you're finding value in this, go ahead and invite people to the Money Making Friends group. And we're going to continue on these conversations here about financial literacy, because my vision and what I see for the future is owning land, okay, and property around the world. And I'm not talking about just myself, y'all. I'm talking about educating the masses on financial literacy, because it is like, this is what the rich do. This is what the rich do. They share their information. Okay. They get educated. They have access to resources that the average people don't. They have experiences that the average people don't. So knowing that I'm going to teach you how to get yours, and also teach you how to give less of theirs. Okay. That's the direction that I am going, because all of this is legal and everybody should know this information. The fact that most people don't understand taxes or have at least a little bit of an understanding around them will be and cost them the biggest expense that they have in their life. Imagine that, you guys. Imagine that, okay? Okay, awesome. You guys can go ahead and take a picture of this. Remember in the beginning, we were talking about all the different things that we are taxed for. And you guys are feel like we're taxed on everything. Okay, we're taxed on the money we make. We're taxed on the money we spend. And where is this money really going? It doesn't matter. Political doesn't matter. It's like we need to be in charge of our own world and our own existence, despite whoever's in office, and despite what's going around in the world, you guys. Because in a time like this, there are either going to be people who rely on other people, or there are going to be people who say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create my own reality and get myself educated, okay? So take a picture of this, right? The power of financial mastery, tax write-off and deductions for business owners. And I'm going to teach you guys as a W-2 employee. Again, if you guys are like, hey, I'm not looking to open up a business. How can I take advantage? We're going to be talking about that. But just to give you guys a perspective, the federal income tax, okay, that's what we're paying on. The rate says it's up to 14.5%. We got state income taxes. Okay. Sometimes some 9%. I mean, it ranges per state. Social Security and Medicare taxes, you guys. How much money that we're actually putting back in from our paycheck that is Social Security even going to be here? I want to hear, like, let me know in the chat. Do you guys think that by the time that we are retired, we're going to be able to take advantage of Social Security? It's just kind of like a dying system, in my opinion. And we're paying into that, knowing that we might not ever take advantage of that. The sales tax rate, you guys, I know LA County is super expensive. New York's very expensive. Okay. Even going from county to county, you can actually have different rates. Okay. Property taxes, again, for those of you that own homes or want to be opening homes, and other taxes like gasoline, alcohol, estate taxes, gift taxes, which may all apply to net worth individual. Yes, Veronica's saying she has no sales tax in Oregon. That's incredible. So knowing that, hey, this is the biggest expense in our life, and what are we going to do to combat that, right? Now we're going to be going into business structures and the impacts of taxation on business structures. Okay. So several different types of business structures. I really dove into this when I was figuring out like, hey, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to figure out what type of business entity I should get involved with. Now, I went through so much with this, so much research on the internet. At this time, I didn't have a great tax guy that I could work with, and I just really went through it, you guys. I started off. I started off as well. Let's go through it first. The sole proprietorship, right? There's a variation in tax rates and rules. Different structures have different tax rates and reporting requirements. Sole proprietors and partnerships are pass-through taxation. Business income reported on owner's personal tax return. Okay. The biggest thing of a sole prop is the fact that you are not protected. That's like the biggest thing with the sole proprietorship is that your business is really not protected. But you know, you don't need to get really into that until, like, let's say, like, if I were to open up a clothing boutique as a sole proprietor and somebody hurt themselves in my store and they sued me, I would have no protection. They could go after all of my assets. So that is something that, you know, if you have liabilities and risk like that, that's something that you need to consider. Usually sole props and partnerships are people who are just starting. That's fine if you're just starting, but know that you need to protect yourself because people can come after you for anything. Corporations, you guys, are a separate entity with its own tax liability. It's taxed at the corporate rates. LLCs are flexible. You can choose taxation as a sole prop, partnership, or corporation. And I was struggling a lot with this in the beginning. Okay, LLCs, corporation, which one's best? Which is one that I should do? You can get an LLC, and you can be taxed as an S corp. Why did I choose to get an S corp for my business entity? Well, because I had multiple people tell me that it was the best. It was the best for business owners. It was the best pass-through entity. And I would get the most tax advantages that way. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying do your due diligence and ask your certified professional for feedback. You know, you have to choose the right structure which aligns with you. When I first started, I started off as a sole prop in a partnership. And then I was like, you know, educating myself and ultimately decided to become an S corporation. Consider the liability protection, ease of management, ownership flexibility, and factor in the tax advantages. Like it says here, you guys, S corporations may provide tax savings for self-employed individuals, which is huge. LLCs offer pass-through taxation with limited liability. C corporations may suit larger enterprises with growth plans. So as you guys can see, a lot of information. Again, I recommend decide, hey, LLC, S corp, which one's the best for me? How do I want to proceed? And talk with your specialist. So it's really, really important, you guys, the backbone of financial success, keeping proper record Records matter because we're going to be talking about deductions and write-offs, okay? So accurate records substantiate your claims, ensuring you don't miss out on eligible deductions. It keeps you in compliance, okay? Income documents all sources of revenue, including sales, services, and investments. When I had my clothing boutique, I had to keep track of my income. I had to keep track of my inventory. I had to keep track of my sales. I had to keep track of everything. Recording business related costs such as supplies, rent, utilities, marketing, and travel. When you do get a corporation, meaning that you went through and you got an EIN number, which is an employee identification number. That EIN number is basically like your business's social security number. So you guys have your own social security, and then your business has a social security because there's two different entities, right? You have your business, and then you have yourself. Okay. And again, we'll be going more into ways that we can protect these entities and protect ourselves. Receipts and invoices are very important. Keeping digital copies, financial statements, very important. One of the biggest things for me, I noticed, is really when you do start to, in the beginning, when I didn't have a business entity and I was just running as a sole proprietor, I was really just flying off the seat of my pants. I had an Excel spreadsheet to which I would record all of my transactions. Once you do get that business EIN number and you have an entity, then you can actually go to the bank and open up a business checking account and get a business credit card. Okay. So if you guys are not there yet, it's just keep an Excel spreadsheet of like all of your expenses, right? Like your cell phone, your supplies. I know Cindy messaged me. She's like, hey, I bought these supplies, right? And this here, you guys, so unlocking tax benefits and deductions and write-offs, okay? How to reduce your taxable income, and also how you can lower that liability overall every single year, right? Who wants to save more money? I'm sure we all want to be saving more money. This comes in the form of business expenses, employee costs, depreciation of assets. I'm going to touch on that. Home office deductions. I have a home office here. I'm able to write off up to 300 square feet of my apartment because I have an office there. And healthcare premiums, which is amazing. I'm not going to go too much into depreciation and amortization. I'm going to touch on that. But being able, and the reason why I'm going over this, all you guys, is this is the stuff you need to know. Okay. This is the stuff you need to know to empower yourself. I know it's kind of boring. I know it's not the most glamorous thing, but I will tell you guys, I have spent hours and hours and so much energy learning about this so that I can share this information with you, to the common people who are like, okay, now I have a much more clear understanding about how I can get these benefits in my home. So depreciation is the gradual allocation of an asset's cost over its useful life. This can be vehicles, machinery. My fiance, Ryan, he purchased multiple vehicles that he is able to use as a depreciation, or if he needs that full tax deduction for that fiscal year. You guys heard me in the beginning of the call talk about that code. So, you can depreciate that asset, or you can write it off all in 1 year. So it matters because, again, it's reducing your taxable income, lowering your tax liability, okay? And really, amortization is it divides expenses over the asset's life. So an example of amortization, it's used for things like patents, copyrights, or goodwill. An example of this would be when I was first starting my clothing boutique business. I would loan myself money. I loaned myself probably like $100,000, and I would inject that money into the business. So Whitney Marie loaned Designer Drip Inc. $100,000 plus dollars. You guys following me here? And that is amortization, because that's like that's an asset that can be, or that's a liability that can be paid back to me untaxed. Does that make sense, you guys? So now that I'm in a place where, hey, Designer Drip Inc. is doing well, Designer Drip Inc. can now pay Whitney Marie back on the $100,000 of this investment that I put in, that's not tax, that's untaxable money. So I'm literally in this year, like, am writing myself $10,000 checks, $20,000 checks, $30,000 checks. That is untaxed income because of amortization. Okay. So a little bit confusing, but it's definitely information that you guys need to know. Now, you guys ready to get into the good stuff? Okay. You guys ready to get into the good, juicy stuff right here on how we all can take advantage of this? You guys finding value? Are you guys finding value in this? Right? Like drop some fire in the chat if you guys finding some value in this. I love to hear in the chat. So thank you for being interactive, right? So the harnessing now a lot of people ask me, Whitney, what can I do? I'm not a business owner. I don't plan to open up a business entity. I don't plan to do any of that, right? The best way for you as a W-2 employee, and I know there's a lot of you out there because I saw you guys in the chat, is you're going to harness. And this pretty much is the only way, okay? Like, this is the way that you are going to harness taking advantage of all. Did you guys like those benefits that business owners get, people that are out there? I'm talking business owners that own like gyms, restaurants, clothing boutiques, right? I got to basically write everything off in my life and learn all about this. So you guys can bring that into your own life. You can do that by having a home-based business, okay? What does having a home-based business look like? So it could look like a direct sales company, okay? It can look like, hey, like maybe you're starting an Etsy store, okay? Maybe you're starting an Etsy store. That's how I started. I was selling vintage clothing on Etsy before I opened up my clothing boutique. That got me in. That's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna have a sole prop. And I went online and I got my EIN number, okay? So exploring home office deductions available to self-employed individuals, certain business owners, and W-2 employees. You can deduct, again, a portion of your home-related expenses reflecting business use, okay? Determining deductible expenses are really like, what do you have? Like, what are you using for your business? I know for me, I pay rent, I have a phone, I buy a lot of supplies, I have an office, I have a vehicle that I use for work, okay? Hey, this dress, I wore this dress on stage for an event. And this dress right here is tax deductible because I wore it at an event. These nails, you guys, like ladies, you want to learn how to get your nails and your hair tax deductible? It's like, well, I have a home-based business. This is my brand. This is how I show up. Okay. This is a part of my brand and who I am. So literally my whole life is a tax deduction because I learned about this, right? So I segued from traditional brick and mortar business to having a home-based business online where I took all of this information about tax deductions and I'm like, everybody that has a job and is working in the United States needs these tax deductions. Otherwise, you guys are leaving thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the table, okay? So again, calculating deductions, $5 per square foot of your home up to 300 square feet. Very important that office is truly your office, okay? That you got office stuff in there. You can put in a little office sign above the door and really treating it as so. Again, yes, meeting clients, like how many times I go out to lunch and I take people, I'm going out to lunch tomorrow with somebody, but we're going to be talking about business. I'm like, all right, like, this is going to be a tax deductible lunch. Breakfast today, Ryan and I had an amazing conversation with the owner. We're talking about business. We're talking about moves. I invited her to an event. Like, hey, that's tax deductible. I was talking about business there. And everything is tracked and logged through my credit card, okay? Because I have an account and I'm really official. But if you guys are like just getting started, use your Excel spreadsheet. Keep your receipts, okay? Again, going into compliance and documentation, you need to be very organized, okay? And just have everything calculated so that at the end of the year, when you're looking at because this is what happens with the government, guys. This is what happens with the government. The government taxes you on the work that you did now. And then one time a year, they look and say, now, does this person qualify for a refund, right? How many of you are like, I hope I get a refund. I don't know how I get a refund. I just hope I get one. Well, this information right now is actually going to teach you how you can actually get bigger tax returns and offset that income that the government is taking as a free loan from you. Think about that, okay? So W-2 employees, they work, they get taxed, and maybe they'll get a refund one time a year. Business owners, we make our money and we get to spend our money accordingly, and we are taxed on what's left. You guys following me here? Okay? Drop a 444 if you guys are following me here. W-2 employees, you work. The government takes a loan interest-free from your check based on your education and your level of tax awareness, and going through those $75,000 pages is going to determine if you have to pay more or if you will actually get a refund. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to be spending my money. I don't want Uncle Sam to be spending my money. I want to be spending my money. You want to spend? You're going to either like say, yes, government, take this and spend it however you want. And we all know the world's crazy right now, and the policies and what they're doing. They're giving crack addicts pipes over here in California, and they're giving them the drugs. It's like crazy, okay? So it's like, this is a way that you can empower yourself. This is a way that you can actually know the system and empower yourself. Yeah, right? So take a picture of this. And in summary, you guys, mastering taxation and financial strategies for business success. Choose your structure wisely, okay, to optimize taxes, align with goals, and benefit from specific advantages. I'm not here to tell you which entity is best. I'm sharing what worked, what I did and decided based off my information, okay? Accurate records, right? Keeping a backbone. Also knowing, strategically able to reduce your income by leveraging common deductions and industry-specific options with those tax deductions in the write-offs, the depreciation, amortization, we talked about that, your home office, and really empowering your business, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm making investments I've invested over $70,000 in this last fiscal year on business classes, masterminds, investments, okay? I have a videographer. Why? Because I don't want to come to the end of the year and then have the IRS say, Whitney, you did great this year. You have $100,000 in your bank account. We're going to take $30,000 of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spend and invest my money the way I want to. Either you're investing for yourself or you're letting Uncle Sam determine what's going to be happening with your money, okay? And when you guys, it's important, you guys, it is important, and we'll have more conversations on this as well too. Credit, building your credit, and credit is king, okay? When you are an entrepreneur and self-employed, and I've been self-employed for 9 years, okay? My fiance has been self-employed for 6 years. And it is so important when you are self-employed that you understand this, and you can also, like, we've had to show taxes. We've had to pay a lot in taxes, planning to prepare to buy a home, planning to prepare that when you are self-employed. That's very important as well. And also the reason why we're like, hey, we're going to be showing that we've had so much profitability this year because we want to be purchasing a home. Okay, we can talk more about that later, but there are times when you can control your ratio, how much you want to show, how much you don't want to show. I love that. I love having control after that. After we buy a house, after we get into a house, we're going to be diving back into these 75,000 pages and, reducing our taxable income because we already got the loan. Okay. And I am going to wrap it up with this, you guys. Many of you know that, hey, we're in the water business. Take a picture of this, okay? This is available when you purchase your when your water ionizer. Not only do you stop renting water for your life, think about that. What's the cost of renting water for your life? Not only do you avoid that liability, you make an investment into this machine. You sign the W-9 whether you want to do the business or you don't want to do the business. If you sign the W-9, that means that actually opens you up to tax deductions, even if you're not fully taking advantage of it, because that income potential is there. Now, you don't want to lie, okay? Yeah, hey, maybe you're working your business an hour a day. That's not lying, okay? You can have space and you can have, place where you can take advantage of these tax write-offs. I will share with you guys a really quick story before we kind of run through these really quick. I have a gal. She was drinking the water, helped her with lupus, an autoimmune disease she's had for 11 years. Her husband's like, hey, it's an expensive machine. She's like, I don't care. We're getting it. It's my health. I need it. Gets the machine. I'm like, girl, write out the tax deduction. You guys are both W-2 employees. At the end of the year, okay, anything cost related to your machine, because she's come to a couple events, she's plugged into calls, she's sharing the water here and though whenever she feels like it, right? But she has come to events, she has invested in other the pre-filters, all that. She did all that. And I was like, hey, keep all of this because you signed the W-9. And she had worked in a different type of online marketing company before, so she was aware of that. They normally get back $6,000 on their taxes, which her and her husband. Guess how much they got back with the tax write-offs from the water business? $15,000. $15,000. They went from a $6,000 refund to a $15,000. Right? So here we have, you guys, take a picture of this. Cell phone, internet bills, home office expenses. I write all of this off. Computers. I bought a new computer. You buy a new phone, right? Business insurance, seminars, right? I go, you guys see me go to Italy. You guys see me go to Vegas. I write all of that off, okay? Not only that, I get reimbursed by it through the company. Travel expenses. Who likes to travel? Advertising expenses. Hey, you want to run some ads on Facebook or Instagram? Bank fees, legal fees, right? Any expense. Like my whole life is a tax deduction. Because everywhere I'm going, I do this full time, but you don't have to do this full time. This is how you can take advantage of being a W-2 employee and having this right away. Business taxes and license, car insurance, subscriptions, payment to subcontractors. I'll tell you guys, I didn't make this PowerPoint. Shout out to my assistant I was like guiding her, telling me I subcontracted out work to her. Right? I'm like, girl, do this PowerPoint. This is what I want to hear, blah, blah, blah. And she went on and she did this. Cool. Tax deduction. And I'm able to change somebody else's life. I don't know. That's pretty cool if you ask me. Okay. Continued deductions. Take a picture of this. It just goes on and 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 on. Anything related to the business. And again, you guys, my friend, that got the $15,000, she hasn't even sold one machine. But she was able to take advantage because when she bought this machine, she signed on to that W-9, which started her off as basically an independent contractor. And now she gets to offset her W-2 income, okay, with the expenses of her home-based business, okay? Y'all having some awakenings, okay? Yes, Louie, I would love to hear from you. So here's this last little call to action, you guys. Take a picture of my email. If you guys want my CPA, he's based in California. He's amazing. You guys can schedule a Zoom call with him. Tell him Whittles sent you, okay? Send me an email titled taxes, and I will know what that is, and I will send you my tax guy's information so that you guys can talk with a professional, okay? So you guys can talk with a professional. Take a picture. Now, I want to just call forth a couple of my money-making friends, okay? Ooh, that's pretty huge. Yes, thank you guys. So let's see. I want to hear from Louie. And I'm gonna pin Louie up here. So Louie, you didn't have tax deductions before you got involved in this program, did you?
No, I didn't, but I was a W-2 employee and I was making over $100,000 in my artwork every year and claiming my child. I was only getting like maybe 25 to $3,000 back average every year in 2012. So now do the math, roughly less than 15,000 since you've been around. So when I did that, wrote off my machine the first time. It was a home-based business, and it was during COVID, and I was wrote off my machine the first time for 2 years. So I was in the process of going back to work during COVID, and we got shut down. So then I filed 2 years, and with so I was in the process of going back to work. They're like, "Oh, you owe like $4,000." So then I filed 2 years. All right, well, I kind of expected that. Here's a machine that I bought. It's basically a home-based business. They told me to turn this in. So what does that look like? And then I remember my tax person's like, "What the heck? Like you're getting $11,800 back, but I owed $4,000. So my first year I got $7,800 back. 2 years ago I got $4,100, and then the person that you were talking about, I told her what to do. She filed her taxes before I did, and then she came back with all the info that you just put out and gave it to me. So I turned in like my electricity bill, my Wi-Fi, my cell phone, my gas, my registration for my car, and I got $6,100 back this year. So roughly $17,500 in 3 years.
You saved $17,000. Let me just get this correct. You went from basically like W-2 employee, full time dad, full time professional artist, no tax deductions, and in 3 years you've saved over $17,000 in taxes.
Correct.
I mean, insane.
Like I thought it was gonna go like less and less. Like this year, I was like, dude, like I already maxed it out on my taxes. Like I'm gonna get some back, but not as much as before. And then this year was like the second highest since I've owned my machine. I was like, what the heck, dude? Like, awesome.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Louie. And like that's what's so cool. That's what's so cool is that like this is what I love. I love this is the type of stuff that I love, you guys. I love empowering people. Would let's just round it up to 20. Would $20,000 make a difference in your life? We work hard for our money. We work hard for the money. All right. We want to keep that money, honeys, in our bank account and for our families, right? So I want to bring another woman forth. I'm going to pin Brenda. Okay, I'm going to pin spotlight for everybody for Brenda. So Brenda. I love Brenda because when I met Brenda, she's only, oh, I don't use credit cards. I pay cash for everything. I was like, who told you to do that? Like we try to get property. We try to buy houses in here. Like, what you mean? You're not trying to get your credit, right? You're not trying to get your credit up. So can you kind of tell the people where you were at before this community and like what you knew about taxes and just working alongside me, working alongside people in this community that are educating themselves on financial literacy? Like, what has that looked like in the last few years of transformation for you and your your tax knowledge and kind of what you're doing now? Share with the people.
Yes, thank you. Amazing training. Oh my God, I've learned things that I didn't know before. So my mother does taxes, so I never have to worry about that, right? So and I've helped out. So I know a few things. I didn't know some of the things that, and you always keep learning some of the things that you said today. But as far as financial literacy in general, I did not know anything. I mean, I attribute everything I know to this community. My credit score is ridiculous right now. The amount of money that these credit cards are throwing at me is ridiculous. And you know, I have a better head. When I was younger, you don't know what to do. Nobody teaches you how to grow your credit and financial literacy. So your networking, your net worth is so true. I'm so grateful. As y'all know, I'm an actress, and I just keep saying this over and over. There's a lot of actors who are very successful. They make a lot of money. They pay a lot in taxes because they just don't know the financial literacy. They don't know how to protect their money. So for me, the game changer was having this home-based business. It's a high ticket item, number one. And then number two, the community on top of that is really great. And having people around like Whitney too, that, just always throwing gems down. You're like, whoa. And you're just kind of like, how can I not win, right? How can I not win with all this knowledge? So yeah, I didn't. If you're somebody that just pays cash and you don't utilize your credit and you don't utilize tax deductions, you're not going to grow, because the game is all taxes and credit. That's the game. So anybody who's hearing this and doesn't, do that stuff, I ask them the same thing. Like, you're in the game. The Matrix is a game, but you're not participating. And what are you doing? If you're not going to participate, you might as well be living out in like the mountains, with the goats, which is very peaceful and beautiful. And I hope to have land one day. But if you're in the Matrix, like, play the game, learn the game, and a lot of us don't even know it's a game. It's absolutely a game with cheat codes. This is why people hate, Trump, but he's got the cheat codes. There are cheat codes. Anyway, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And you, like, when you started kind of working with us, you weren't approved. You were trying to get approved for credit cards. You didn't get approved. Like, where's your credit sitting at now? And like you had already mentioned, you have so many people that are like giving you lines of credit. You're understanding the game of money, because I literally said that today to somebody. I was like, it's a game. It literally is a game of life. Like, you got to learn how to play it. Like, there's rule books to this, but they're not teaching you about this in school. And your friends who are, who are working W-2 employees, nothing wrong with W-2 employees, love it. But it's like, just educate yourself so you can save more of your money and play a better game, right? So tell me a little bit where your credit score is at right now.
So I want to say this. One of our trainers, Bolton, called me once about this training that I could not afford. It was $10,000. And he literally walked me through. And in that 5 minutes that I was on the phone with him, I learned so much. It was literally like, apply for this credit card. And there were the credit cards that we use for customers, right? And these credit cards are curated. So I went through one, went through the other. And I finally got approved for the amount that I needed. He was like, boom. He was like, pay it off before the deal is over. He was like, he gave you a deal of no interest for a year and 3 months or something like that. And then I was like, oh, this is what people do. And then when my mom was like, yeah. And then once you start having a few credit cards, the credit cards are literally going to give you money. They're going to be like, I forget what it's called, but they literally give you cash money for a loan. And then that you pay them off. And then so this deal ends, you get the cash from here, and then you start a whole new deal and you start paying them off, and vice versa. I never knew that. Okay. And so my credit before I wasn't getting approved for anything. The first card I got approved was in this company, and they gave me $3,000. My credit wasn't that bad. I just didn't have any experience. And then right now, the highest I've gotten approved was $17,000.
Let's go. Let's go. I love that. And now she's building her home, or not her home. She's building her credit, because if you're rolling with wit, if you riding with wit, it's like properties, homes, land. Like, we're going for all of that. Like, we're coming for it all. Love that. Gracie, we have Gracie. She's another one of my money making friends. And let me spotlight Gracie. But I remember meeting Gracie in the jungle. Quite literally, this water will take you to some incredible places and introduce you to some incredible people. The water took me to Costa Rica. I met Gracie. And I mean, me and Gracie's money making like friends relationship kind of started because I was like, girl, like, you got, like, let's get your credit. Let's look at that. Let's get that. Let's look at this leverage income. So, Gracie, if you kind of want to maybe talk about some of the things that you've learned here in this community, in this space where you were before, and some of the advantages that you have learned through this community on how you can keep more of your hard-earned money, because you're a very creative woman. You got a bunch of things, sources of income coming in. So if you could share with the people, that would be amazing.
Yes, thank you for bringing me on. And the quality of this video is a little weird because I actually just purchased a Tesla yesterday, and so I'm streaming this live for the very first time from my Tesla that I would have never in a billion years gotten a car as a lease. But once I've learned how to use the system as a write off, I now have a Tesla because of those benefits, right? So I'm like trying to make, I'm looking down at the camera, but I'm probably should be looking up at the, I'm looking at the screen, but I should be looking at the camera. So yeah, like my reality right now is that I'm living it because I've learned so much through this community. And when I met Whitney in Costa Rica, I didn't even have the money. I didn't even have the money to buy this device, and spending $5,000 was terrifying. I had to pray over my food. I had a fortune cookie tell me that I should invest in this. And if you want to learn more about that story, you can always hit me up and I can tell you more about that. But I literally had to pray because I was afraid of investing $5,000. So the wisdom that this business has brought to me was like to take just more leaps of faith and to not be so afraid and a return on investment. We're so used to just spending money. And I learned through this decision that, you know, what a ROI is. And I just became so savvy with money. My credit was like under 600. I was like at a 500s. And my credit has gone up close to 200 points now, all thanks to Whitney and her like just going through like tough little obstacles with me. She even walked me to a bank to get a personal loan, you know? So shout out to you, Whitney, for sharing all your wisdom in that. But yeah, fast forward to 3 years later, copy what Louis said, what Brenda said about all the tax benefits and just all the investment benefits. But now it's like I'm sitting in a car that I would have never purchased because, you know, lack mentalities and all those things. But because of those loopholes, because it's a home-based business, I can now write it off this car because it's the car that gets me to, you know, to deliver the water or to go to the meetings. So it's technically a write-off. And so, I mean, I couldn't be happier. When I was driving the car back home yesterday, I was like, this has been because I decided to make one investment. So again, thank you all so much. I don't even know where to look, up or down side, but I can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Hey, there's my bestie Anna Tessie. She's coming to my home gym that was purchased as a full tax deduction. The gym, the sauna, the Peloton, full tax deduction because that's in our office and that we also use that in between our businesses, right? So like in order to me to be my best, look my best, feel my best, and be in my mental, I'm like, okay, like let's write this all off. The business is gonna purchase this because I am my business. And that just makes me so excited. Congratulations on your Tesla. And yeah, it's so cool to see you streaming from there and knowing that, hey, this chance encounter where like I literally, you guys like walked her to the bank. I was like, girl, I was like, we gonna be learning about credit. We gonna be learning about taxes here. You're gonna be my friend. You're gonna be learning all this. I was like, we like marched up into the bank and we're like, we need a loan, you know, and we went through like this whole process and learned so much together. But you guys, like literally, like how life changing is that? How life changing that? Thank you so much for sharing, Gracie. Congratulations on your Tesla. When you do lease a vehicle, yes, you can write off 100% of that lease every single month, which is amazing. So yeah, I just kind of want to open it up to you guys that are here on this call. And hey, for those of you watching on Facebook, drop in the chat. What was something that you learned today that you didn't know? What was something that you're like, wow, I'm going to take this information? Because again, you just heard from 3 different people that before they met me, before I started teaching them about, hey, the benefits of tax deductions, how they can take advantage of this investment into your health, and how this can also be an investment long term for the bank account. You know, those are just an example, a handful of people that I'm working with, right? Yeah, yes. Brenda says amortization. What else? What else did you guys learn? You guys can unmute yourself. Astrid says this water really changes our entire reality. Wow, Gracie, congrats! Amazing, amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody like to share? No, the vehicle does not have to be leased in order to write it off. You can purchase the vehicle, but just go back to your tax person and say, hey, what's the best way I can write this off? Probably for you, it would be a depreciating asset as you continue to grow your business and offset your income that you're getting from the water business, unless it's in your husband's name and your husband can get more write-offs as well, right? For those of you who are married. So anybody want to come forward and share? Now's your time. Go ahead and just unmute yourself. Going once, going twice. It's all right. I'll get you guys to talk here soon. But all right, you guys, here, I want you guys to go on your social media and I want you guys to share one thing that you guys learned about taxes today. Okay. One thing that you guys learned about taxes today. Jesus says the infamous benefits that come with being a part of the company, the infinite benefits that being a part of this company offers. Yes. Yeah. The tax benefits are just one thing that this company offers, you guys. This company will pay you to travel. This company will actually, hey, if you don't want to use that money for travel, you can actually use that money to your child's college tuition. Think about that. Tell me another company that will actually pay your child's tuition, right? And another thing about our company is the fact that you can actually will this down and create generational wealth to your children. Parents, right? Parents, drop a 444 if you want that, like for your kids, right? Veronica says we learned so much. All the write-offs is mind-blowing. So you guys, keep good record. Invite people to the Money Making Friends group. Go in your story today and share one thing that you learned about taxes, right? And hey, use that link, invite people to the Money Making Friends group because I just want to grow this. And the next call that I'm going to do, I need to find this particular training, but you're actually going to be hearing from a tax professional. One of the trainings that I had with one of my mentors, and this call just blew my mind. And it was coming from a guy that owned his own, CPA company. And so I think that will be the next call that I will do. And you guys can watch this recording of this professional. But I wanted to bring this to the people because the people need this information. And the more that we share this information, the more that we invite people to this space, the more empowered we become. Whether you decide to work with us or not, just get your money right, honeys. Like, get those tax deductions. Figure out how you can, start taking advantage of those tax deductions through being, having a home-based business, through following your passion, through actually, hey, maybe you want to take your passion to the next level and have an entity and open up a bank account and be more serious about how you're stepping forward. So thank you guys so much. And I look forward to our next call, and keep an eye on the chat. We probably have about like 3 to 4 other calls that we're going to be having this month with the Money Making Friends group. Just continue to invite people and share the information. That's what I just want people to find value in what we're sharing here and apply it in their own lives. Because as you guys could learn here from a few of our Money Making Friends, it's making such a huge difference in their lives. And it's never too late to learn. Okay. So thank you guys so much. And gang, Money Making Friends, gang, let's save that money, honey. Let's make great investments. Let's have those write-offs. Let's have those tax deductions. Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Bye. And that's how